Hi, this is Katie, and thank you for joining me on the My Senses, My Space podcast. And this is a podcast about feeling the world intensely, creating time to evaluate your needs, and planning your space and life to fit you. And today I wanted to talk about planning for perfection. Or maybe that should be phrased as a question. Do you find yourself planning your activities for the day or the week, assuming that it's going to be an ideal situation for them all? And I laugh because how often do we have like a perfect day or a perfect week or a perfect month? I mean, there is no perfection, right? That's why I'm laughing, because there is absolutely no perfection in life. We can feel very lucky sometimes that there aren't things getting in our way, and it feels very much like we have low friction days and we have a smile on our face because what we planned worked out. But what I want to talk about is, how do we actually make plans then, if that's kind of our golden goose, right? The thing that is just so hard to achieve. How do we look at our lives and plan for things to go wrong without thinking the worst case scenarios, right? So for me, I would always leave at the last moment. I would say, and because I think very black and white sometimes, and think like, well, things should have gone this way. It's always gone this way. Or it's says on a map, whether it's Google or Apple or whatever mapping service you're using, it said that I was going to be there in that amount of time. Why? And then I go proceed on that route and it doesn't work out that way. Why is that? Like, I have to say the last 10 years are very different from that, but I would say in my 30s, 20s, and 30s, this is how I operated. Was like, even when there weren't mapping apps out there, I would time like, okay, this is the time from my front door to my work front door. Why is it causing problems today? Well, things come up, right? Traffic is a big one. And I'm here in the Seattle area, and traffic, what I learned up here was traffic can pop up at any moment's notice. And there doesn't have to be a why. It's a very, hilly city with lakes in the middle of the city and lots of water. And so there can be these really congested routes to go around those points. And so it just, if one little point gets congested and the cars flow back up onto another point, it just causes it. And it can be from a traffic accident, it can be from an event, it can be from anything. And so, yeah, when I moved here, it was definitely eye-opening to go, oh, wait, there's traffic today. Why is there? I don't know. It doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter what the source is. I had to start adjusting my perceived idea of what travel takes. And I've talked about this before, where it's like, okay, plan, not only getting out the front door, but getting there and then parking and then getting up to the office that you're going to or wherever you're going to. But this is kind of adjacent to that, where you're actually thinking about your week. And you're thinking ahead going, oh, okay, I have this appointment this day and this appointment this day. But that's if, your family doesn't have anything unexpected pop up. That's if the people that you are involving in those appointments, whether it's a doctor who's running late, a friend who gets stuck in traffic too, or needs to bump everything an hour forward. It just depends on all these other dependencies, right? Once we start seeing all these dependencies going on and going, oh, well, my plans, either if they're in your Google Calendar or on a paper planner, think of them more as like rubber bands, so that each one of those has these kind of stretchy points. And how I really started seeing all these stretchy points is because I looked at my past and was making notes on my past times, my past weeks, months, and noticing that, okay, this whole week had this move forward, this move backward, this get canceled, and whatever I was thinking was that ideal never really happened, and being okay with that. So again, I am one who wants to go, okay, this is going to happen now, so I am going to count on it. And I am a number 6 on the Enneagram, and I am a planner. I love to look ahead and see, what could possibly come up during this day that could alter my plans. And I've even found in this last year, no matter what I could think up, something else would pop up entirely. So whenever it was something that I couldn't control, I had absolutely no control over, whether it was meeting a doctor, whether it was calling a friend, there were so many different things that would come up that really surprised me. I was just like, oh, wow, I had never thought that. And one was a doctor's appointment. They're like, oh, they're running about 45 minutes late. They were stuck in traffic this morning. And I'm like, oh, wow, well, I'm here and I get to wait an hour. Yay. So, and knowing that we're human through all that, right? All of us are human. We're all dealing with this. Sometimes we can feel very alone thinking, oh, I'm the only one having all this bad luck. But no, it's everyone, all of us. And especially if we don't have an assistant right by our sides, celebrities who have someone controlling their schedule from morning till night and adjusting everything along the way. And you see, at least I do in the movies and shows, they're constantly adjusting things too and trying to piece things in as well. They can plan as well as they can, but then you have to be flexible. Everyone needs kind of this rubber band thinking of okay, this is going to move up or it's going to expand and take more time than we thought. It can be that our child has some kind of surprise assignment that they bring home and we have to do it that evening. It can be, a family member who gets sick and needs support. It can be anything financial that pops up and you're like, oh, wait, I need to bring in some more cash. So I need to put more shifts on my schedule. So many things can just happen, right? It just happens. And so when we think about our plans, I just put in a lot of buffer space on a lot of things. And my biggest lesson, especially over the last 5 years, is how can I buffer multiple things? How can I buffer my time? How can I buffer my travel time? So that's different, right? My time, here at home where I'm just, maybe I have appointments with clients and I'm just buffering my time in between. How can I buffer time that I need to go to the doctor for my chronic illness stuff, all those things? How can I make that go a little more smoothly for myself if I get there extra early and I have some videos to watch on my phone? It can feel very uncomfortable for some people to get somewhere early. It can feel like, ooh, what do I do with myself? Because sometimes that means having a little alone time with yourself, and that part can be scary. But when I look at my whole week, I try not to have more than 2 appointments on any day. Whether it's a health appointment and a client, that to me is enough because I have so many other things to fill up, the cracks in between, all the little times, all the sand in the jar. I think there's that little exercise where you put all your rocks in first and then the sand fills up around them. So I always have stuff I can be doing. Always. I am one though that I'm never bored because I always feel like there's other things I can do. But that's not for everyone. That can feel very worrisome. That can feel like a huge burden. So when I go to an appointment early and I do have some time, I only bring like one or two things. Like, do I want to jot some things down in my work notebook? Do I want to watch a YouTube video? Or do I just want to browse some social media because, it's okay to consume that if I know it's only going to be like 5 minutes, at least for myself. There are moments I go scrolling for quite a while, but knowing that if I have this finite time, sometimes that's even a better way of jumping on and off social media because you have that kind of set period of time. So it's not about, thinking that you're unlucky. It's not about thinking I can't plan my weeks and my days. I'm frustrated by that. There are skills to learn, to see how some things can be very predictable for yourself, but then other things, there's just no saying what can happen. Absolutely none. I'm trying to think of something lately that I was just really surprised. I was like, oh, I'm going to meet up with this person. It's going to go this way. And it just completely fell apart. Not on anybody's fault, but it was just something that I hadn't even thought of, that it just wasn't going to happen. And it was more than like just meeting up with a friend. Those plans fall through all the time. It's actually, and I'm just like, yay, I have an afternoon. I can go do other things. But there was something that anyway, I'll have to share it on social media or somewhere, or maybe in my newsletter. But I think it just helps to understand, where can I plan out my week and understand that these things can take more time, can disappear, can move around, can be rescheduled without too much problems for myself. And it's not about just having everything open so that you're just waiting on other people, because you have a life to live too. But knowing that you have boundaries around, well, I could do it this day, but if they reschedule, we'll just bump it to next week. And that's all we can do. Now, there are time sensitive things, but I think for a majority of times, there can be more flexibility than you think. So along with looking at your week, it's also, I've found, beneficial to set up, especially if it's an early appointment or something I'm doing right in the morning, how can I prepare for that the night before? What can I lay out? Like, can I lay out clothes? Can I get my purse ready? Do I need papers to go with me? Do I need to take something with me to give to somebody? What do I need to prepare? Is there some way to check in? Is there some way to email someone and remind them so that when I get there and they forget, well, hopefully they don't forget, but when I go, I can know that we kind of confirmed the day before. So it's not just kind of out of the blue, because so many people forget, and that's okay. Like, I would rather touch base more often and say, hey, are you still up for a meeting tomorrow? Than to just kind of show up and go, wait, they forgot, I don't know. That's what I've learned over time. So for me, I let go of planning for perfection and learn to plan for my life and the way I live, and used skills that I could form to look at my life differently. And I help a lot of people figure this out, of like going, well, what are your stretchy points? How can you prepare the night before? How can you do these things, even if it's really hard to do so, especially with ADHD or autism? It can be a real challenge to practice over time, getting ready for these things and finding the time to fit everything into your schedule that you want to fit. And I love helping people with that. So get in touch if you would like some help with that. But until next time, thank you for joining me on the My Senses, My Space podcast.